Thinking about going green? Would you give up your gas-powered vehicle for a vehicle that goes 250 miles on a charge and is good for 250,000 miles? Well, we put that question out on social media and we got some really interesting answers. If you want to hear more, stay right with us. Let's put 4 minutes on the clock. We put a question out on social media. Would you give up your gasoline-powered car for a vehicle that is electric that would go 250 miles on a charge and have a 250,000-mile range before it would need to be replaced? Well, I put it on all forms of social media and literally got an interesting mixture of answers. These are your answers, and I want to address some of them because anyone who's seen my previous 4-Minute Fridays or seen me on television know my opinion on electric vehicles. First thing is, we have some rare earth minerals that are all owned in mines by China. So you don't want to be beholden to the Middle East, instead we'll be beholden to China. This is ridiculous because you know how much they love us. Right now we're in the middle of a trade war or a tariff war. But even if we get that resolved, they're still not our fans. And if they own all the mines, they're controlling all those rare earth minerals. What are they? Cobalt, which is really toxic to humans. Cadmium, another rare earth mineral, toxic to humans. Neodymium, which is magnetic, again, hazardous to humans. Mercury, which is also a hazardous material to humans, and other rare earth minerals. So besides the fact that you can't recycle these components without damaging the environment, the gigantic carbon footprint that's necessary to mine these rare earth minerals, to produce batteries, to produce the car and put them out on the market, use their full life, and then at the end what they're going to do with them is substantially larger than that of a gasoline-powered or diesel-powered vehicle. That's called the full carbon footprint from cradle to grave. And if you don't believe me, go online and look. I'll put some links down below for that as well. Now, many people did comment, I don't like how slow the charging is. So some of the comments read, charging time, still an issue. They want it to be done in a minute or less. Well, it probably takes about 5 minutes to pump gas by the time you get out of the car, fill up, and leave. So I think if you met that 5-minute window of charging, that might cause people to start looking at electric vehicles. We also have a problem with weather. I know that companies like Audi have been out there showing that their vehicles don't deplete the batteries because of the super cold or super warm weather. Well, there's still going to be some depletion because of what a battery is and how a battery functions. So that's also an issue that many of you brought up. It's becoming more than just the carbon footprint. It's the destruction of natural resources, the environmental impact from mining all this, the human rights of the children that are used to mine all these rare earth minerals in the Congo and in China, because they don't care about human lives like we do here and like many of you do around the world. On top of that, no one talked about the electric grid. It is ancient. In many cities, it's really ancient, and it has never been updated, and the infrastructure can't support every single person who would potentially make this trade to a 250-mile EV. So for everyone to do it would be a problem. So you say, many of you said, well, I can charge at night, and the electricity is much less expensive. Maybe so, but the grid can't support it, and there's been a lot of cities with a lot of problems. And on top of that, this is very interesting. People are thinking, well, I'll just use solar panels, and then I'll use my solar panels to charge my electric vehicle, and I won't have a problem. Just so you know, with solar panels, they have to be connected to the grid. And in order to connect them to the grid, the gas companies are charging you a connection fee. And they don't want your extra solar collection or your extra wind collection because it overloads the grid on the other side. This has become a huge problem. So the cost of your solar panels will take you 7 to 10 years to recoup, and it's only going to potentially lessen the load on your electric bill. It will not eliminate the load on your electric bill. Again, it depends where you live. You live in New Mexico? Yeah, you're gonna get better sun than you are if you're gonna live in Montana and you're in the trees or in the woods. You're gonna get very little help from this. And the cost of these panels has one factor that most people forget. You have to replace your roof. Your roof has to be new. Otherwise, they will not put solar panels on your roof. And this is a problem. I've talked to people who say, well, we're going to add that into the renovation of putting a new roof on my house. Okay, keep in mind, it's going to be more expensive. So when you look at all the expenses in total, solar panels really aren't a great benefit, which is why if you look at solar panels in total around the globe, they're putting them up because they think it's greener. But the fact is the overall solar industry, the market has shrunk dramatically. And look at Solar City, they're barely alive. This is a huge factor. So you have solar panels on your roof and you're going to do this trade. I've got some very interesting commentary from those on social media. Here are some of your comments, and they're pretty good. EVs are better for the environment than an internal combustion engine, unless you're looking at a plug-in hybrid that's driven to its optimal EV levels, such as the Chevy Volt or the Toyota Prius Prime. One question that kept coming up a lot is, where do you think electricity comes from? Well, coal, natural gas, nuclear power. That's what they're doing in other countries, but here in the US, we're trying to eliminate nuclear power. And that would create a lot of brownouts in big cities like New York, Chicago, and LA because, yeah, they get power from nuclear power, and there just isn't enough electricity being produced by wind and solar. That's only about 4% of the total usage in the United States. So we have to have other forms to create electricity. I did get some really fun answers that I didn't expect. Someone posted, I would rather be dragged across a field of broken glass. Sounds painful. I'd rather ride a lawnmower than a car that hums. One person commented, Lauren Fix, your take on EV makes me think of what the horse and buggy folks said about the automobile. The future is electric motors and the future is today. Well, we're not there yet. And I know who posted that. And I know that he's all in for electric, but you have to remember there has to be a mixture of answers because it will not answer everybody's question of what am I going to do to propel my vehicle. On a global basis, many countries have removed the electric vehicle tax credit, and Tesla and General Motors have lost it here in the United States. This is going to impact their overall sales. Sadly, consumers who are considering buying EVs will look at other brands or just change their mind and look at plug-in hybrids in order to get the credit, but they'll still have a gasoline backup. But going pure EV, I don't think we're there yet. And I don't think it's ever going to be a 100% mix of that. I think there will always be a mixture. And based on your comments and your social media feedback, I think we're all in agreement on that. Now, if you didn't get a chance to post on social media, you can put your comment down below because I think it's really important to get everybody's input, and it opens up conversations, and we like to do that here. As I always say, I love your comments. I put a link down below so you can post a commentary on my Facebook page or on Twitter. If you want to see what YouTube suggests and other uploads, they're right over here, including subscribing, which we do appreciate, and all the social media is down below, and we look forward to seeing you next week. If you've got a question you'd like us to post on social media and get some feedback, oh boy, make sure to give me those questions too, because I really love these conversations. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.